very, very, very nice introduction, thank you. And I'm gonna try to make sure that we stay within the 30-minute limit because with excellent content, but during the things that I want to talk about, something that happened around that is something that we're going to have to take into consideration, being a very relevant, serious movement. So, and something that I didn't discuss with Bruce before this, I do represent the LGBTQ, and all the letters, I don't know what they mean. Sometimes I'm just in it. So, queer seems to fit me, not just because of sexuality, it's because of so many other things. So, I'm in that community, but it would be a microaggression to myself and you as individuals that make up yourself as well, because we have multiple identities. We have multiple identities, not just personality disorder, I'm not talking about that, but multiple identities that make up our personal experiences. And so I like to recognize myself now as an intersectional activist because the fights that I face and the battles that I face, it's all day long. So I have to take myself out of that box. And so I want to start off with the group activity because I was hoping that I don't fall asleep on myself while I'm speaking. So this is going to kind of give us a chance to maybe stand up and kind of stretch. But you don't understand now, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I know you're ready. So kind of want to clear your minds, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out some names. And if you recognize the names that I called out, you can keep standing. And it's going to be like a two-part to this. Trayvon Martin. Eric Garner. If you can't stand, that's the guy. Eric Garner. Michael Brown. Tamir Rice. Sean Bell. Terrence Crutcher. Just a moment of silence, just think about those names that you just heard and think about what category they tend to fall in. I'm going to say some more names. Same process. If you recognize the name, stand or keep standing. Tanisha Anderson. Rakita Boyd. Yvette Smith. Miriam Casey. Okay. First category, can someone just raise your hand and maybe real quick tell me who did that first category make up? If you can go ahead and shout out there. Black men shot by police. Yes, killed. Yeah, I'm sorry, Trayvon Martin really wasn't the police, but so, but the people, black men, what about the second category? But notice how many people sat down. And so, this is where intersectionality comes in. And it's difficult because it's really, and the difficulty is sometimes within the tragedy, there's not a lens for the other side of intersectionality. Because we've held and rallied for the black men that have lost their life to state police violence, brutal killings, etc., etc. But the women, we rarely hear about them. And within that tragedy itself is classism, elitism, racism, sexism, and that's why it's important to honor your whole self and honor the selves which makes up this room. Because if we don't, we have this collision of multiple oppressions. Do you understand that you as one person, one singular person, you can be the victim of oppressions, multiple oppressions all day long. What often happens is we don't have the lens, the language, or the framework to address it. So it gets perpetuated or overlooked. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it's important that we address all of these identities. And as Bruce pointed out about the post-tragedy, everybody thinks they know the story because the media has put it out there for you and laid it out for you. But can I tell y'all this bullshit? Some of these are people that I'm still getting to know. I initially accepted arrest because of the bullshit behind the bullshit. Because the people, what politicians did, and they're still doing, is they used the death of human lives to take a political platform. And all of the awards that are being received, only if you're in Orlando and have an ear for the people that have actually been affected. The people receiving awards are people that had nothing to do with their families. Most don't even like gay people. During election time, I had the privilege of meeting a black pastor steeped in patriarchy, but he wanted to get the vote of the people. So I pulled him to the side, and that day I had on a t-shirt and some jeans. You know, I looked even more tomboyish. And I said, so tell me, so if I come to your church, you already know that I'm a minister and I'm from the LGBTQ community, are you going to be cool with me coming to your church? Here's what his response was. Oh yeah, because I lost a lot of friends for y'all. Huh? Really? I'm like, he said, I lost a lot of friends for y'all. And then he said, and I buried some of them in my church. So what was going on during that time was the election process, some of our election processes. And he was running for city council. Thank God he lost. Because now it gives us a chance to address patriarchy, racism, sexism, again, elitism. But if we don't have the framework and we don't have the eye to see it, it perpetuates. And this is very important for us as a Green Party because, and I'm not upset about this, but I think it's worth noting. When I walked in, a loving soul, I'm sure it wasn't meant intentionally, but I was automatically mistaken for the maintenance staff that works here. It can be a little bit of a laugh because, but we have to understand, but what we see is what we expect. And so we expect what we see. So we have to open up our lens to know that if you want to win, you have to open up to black folks and recognize we're more than just to help. We're here to lead. We're here to win. And these are hard conversations. If I was in church, I would say, I know y'all not saying amen now. But it's hard, these are hard conversations. And so we have to call it in and call it out as well. And within the Paul story, before I leave that, within the Paul story, tragic stories. One woman that was killed, she and her partner, or the partner that's remaining, can barely make it financially. Because even though she's in City Beautiful, some of the funding is not being recognized to her because some people don't recognize gay marriage, even though it's been passed and all that good stuff. So here's the even worse story. The family of the person that was murdered, her family disowned her, and they were trying to build a relationship back. Her stepfather despised the fact that she was same-gender loving person until the end. He preached about it, preached against her, preached against her lifestyle, yada, yada, yada. But when it came time to collect the money, he was front and center. So these are the stories that you don't hear, the stories that we don't know. And that's why, as green people, so to speak, we have to have our intersectional lens on. We cannot be a one-dimensional party. That's why we are where we are, because we have failed to interrogate those type of behaviors. I think it was Martin Luther King that said silence is betrayal. If we sit and overlook, we're no different than the Democrats. And while I'm on that note, we can't keep crying over Bernie.
Amen.
Hillary lost.
Good job.
I know it's hard to imagine yourself, even though some of us are in, or some people are in the Greens because they didn't exit after the race, but they're still holding on to that lover. But can I tell you that the Democrats ain't never been loyal to black people? They raped us, they beat us. They're the ones that instituted or helped perpetuate the whole war on drugs. We were at an all-time high with police brutality, even under a black president. Those are hard conversations. But we have to have them. Y'all okay? And so this intersectionality that I'm talking about is not about identities. It's not just about identities. Because what happens is, unless we begin to identify the context, ask what's happening, what's going on. Unless you begin to ask the hard questions, you won't know it, and you'll be guilty of all those isms that we talk about. And so, with us being a party that's establishing and moving forward, we have to begin to understand political intersectionality and the danger of it, or the lack of. And when we fail to recognize it, what happens is it reinforces the other. Does that make sense? Anytime we remain quiet, and the word that I really hate is neutral, we reinforce whatever ism or whatever bias is going on. We just reinforce it. Last week was I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, was my first time meeting this comrade. And together with about maybe 8 to 9 people against maybe about 100 people maybe, we stood up against white supremacy to have a Confederate statue removed from Lake Eola. And when this comrade took the mic, he began to identify his identities. And what was so powerful was, he's not even from Orlando, but he pretty much said was, this statue, it perpetuates the fear of me to even be a black man. Because I don't know whether to raise my hand when I see a police or to immediately get on the floor. But it was stories such as this that helped us to have a triumph. And so until we begin to recognize everyone's identities, ableism, do we make a conversation space enough where it is accessible enough for people that are disabled? Are we bringing them to the table to format a campaign that can win? Not just because it's a winning conversation, because it's from your heart. And how we're going to win is to be strategic in understanding that people are people, and it's the people that have the power.
Yes.
And every one of the people that are here, we comprise and we make up, and we're going to have to be the ones that will dismantle and abolish the power structures. And we have to also stand against the representational schemes, as I call it. It's not enough to say, oh yeah, we got 1 or 2 black people in the Green Party. Oh yeah, on my job, there's about 5 women. But it's, the representational scheme comes in where all 5 of those women may be white. The preacher may want to tell y'all, don't get quiet on me now. So we have to be willing to dismantle. So I invite every person with all of your identities to stand with me as we revolutionize this movement. We can't be a movement until we begin to engage into our various communities, wherever your home place is, and go out and on purposely and intentionally find people that don't look like you and make them feel comfortable and be a part of whatever your thing is. Not just the Green Party, whatever your space is. Make an intentional effort to talk to someone that does not talk your language. You ask how that's going to work? I don't know. But it's the language called love. And unless you're willing to have those hard conversations, we're not going to make it. So again, I want to invite every African American woman. I see my sister here. I see my sisters there. Every disabled person, because every disability you can't see. Every disabled person, every person that's Islam, every person is pansexual, whatever the hell you are. I invite you to stand with us because we need revolutionaries.
Amen.
We need to go green on the next elections.
Yes.
I don't think this is... Well, I hadn't told my party, my local chapter this yet because I just found out myself that I got the guts. But Jim and who else? Nick. We're going to get ready to go green in Orlando. I'm going to take on the city council fight.